We'll begin the test now. Could you please start off by introducing yourself?
Okay, this is MD Nurul Haq. Friends and family call me Nurul, so you can also call me Nurul.
All right. And can you tell me something about your family? How many members do you have in your family?
I have four members in my family, father, mother, and we are two siblings, two brothers. So my father is a retired banker. He was in a government bank, Somali Bank Limited, and he served the bank for almost 20 years. And my mother is a housewife. She raised us uh, in such a way so that we can be a good citizen. And we are two brothers. I'm elder one. Now I am serving in an investment banking company for 5 years, and my younger brother is a college student. He is doing his higher secondary in college.
Okay. Now let's talk about tourism and visitors in general. What would you suggest a visitor to see and do in your country?
In my country, people usually go to Cox's Bazar to see, to enjoy the sea view as well as the mountain view there. Apart from this, people also go to Sajet to enjoy the picturesque view of the Chittagong Hill Tracks. In our country, there are some historical places like Moinamoti, Buddha Bihar. So some people, including the youngsters, also interested to see the historical site.
All right. In what ways do you think tourism has changed over the last 20 or 30 years?
So, in the advent of technology as well as information system, tourism has changed over the last 10 years. Previously, in my country, there were very few places to visit. It includes Cox's Bazar and Kolkata Sea Beach. But nowadays, there are some friendly things like trekking, hiking. The youngsters currently they are enjoying very much hiking and trekking in the mountains, as well as camping in a remote site. These are the remarkable changes over the 10 years.
All right. At this point, we'll move on to the cue card section of the speaking test. You will have a topic and then 4 questions related to the topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare yourself, during which you can use a paper and a pencil to organize your thoughts. After 1 minute of preparation, you'll have to speak on the topic for 1.5 to 2 minutes. You will not be allowed to look at the questions when you begin speaking. If I stop you at the 2 minute mark, do not take that as an indication of how well the exam is going. Are the instructions clear?
Okay.
All right. Please give me a confirmation as soon as you can see the question.
Yes.
All right. You have precisely 1 minute to prepare yourself. You may begin when you're ready. All right. Your 1 minute is over. Can you begin speaking?
We generally have a lot of happenings in our life. Some things are important, and we cherish this type of happenings for a long time. So I would like to share such an event that happened in my life, uh, which is when I got admitted to Dhaka University. So it happened in 2009. After finishing my college, I started taking preparation for university admission test. And after 3 months, the test took place, and I stood ninth position in the state unit of the admission test. So that was very remarkable to me because I was the first generation to enter into a university. So all of my family members were over the moon. They celebrated the occasion uh, uh, by giving sweets to the villagers as well as to the relatives. And our relatives are also very much happy because one of them get into for higher education. And so at that time, I was in my hometown, Chittagong, so I had to move in Dhaka. During the first phase in my university life, it was difficult to cope with the environment in Dhaka city. But Dhaka city has hustle and bustle and a lot of things to do. So I made friends and I get coped with the environment as well as the life in Dhaka city.
All right, I'll pause you right there. We're gonna move on to the next part of the speaking test. Let's talk about news in general. What sort of events make headlines in your country?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. What sort of events make headlines in your country?
So I think the events which is sensational to the society usually are made headlines in my country, like any personal scandal of celebrities or any politicians. This type of news is very much popular to the general people because they are always curious to know what is happening in their life. Besides this, any type of political events are also popular in my country.
All right. Does the media in your country pay more attention to global or national events?
News media in my country usually focuses on the national events and national news more compared to the international events. Basically, this includes lifestyle of our country people as well as the current affairs of the country. And besides this, our news media covers a lot more information from neighboring countries, and international news also have some pages in the news media. So that's all, actually.
Okay. Finally, do you see the role of private and public celebrations or ceremonies changing in the future?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yeah. Do you see the role or purpose of private and public ceremonies, festivals changing in the future?
Okay, I think the ways the public and private ceremony are celebrated are changing day by day. Previously, usually we celebrate the national days and national events in our life, and the celebration of private happenings like birthday or marriage day, etc., was very rare in the past. But currently, these private ceremonies are celebrated widely. So I think in future, the nature of celebration in private as well as in public life will be different from now, based on the future technological changes as well as philosophical changes in the coming generation.
Alright, we'll conclude the speaking test here. I'll give you a rundown of the overall scores that you've earned from the speaking test. In terms of grammatical range and accuracy, your score is a 6 out of 9. I was able to understand what you were saying. There were consistent grammatical errors in terms of tense formation and word formation in complex or compound sentences. However, simple sentences were always accurate. Your ability to maneuver between different structures of sentences need to be smooth, your ability to transition between complex structures need to be precise. If you want to get a 7 or above, you need to be comfortable with the language basically. In terms of lexical resources, your score is a 7 out of 9. Majority of the words that you used were effective, correct, and appropriate. However, if you want to get a higher score, then you need to ensure that you're flexible with your vocabulary, meaning you know how to use specialized words relevant to whatever sector you're speaking about. In terms of pronunciation, your score is a 7 out of 9. I was able to understand every word that you pronounced. If you want to get an 8 or above, then you need to have phonetic applications in your response sustained throughout the entirety of the answer. And finally, for fluency and coherence, your score is a 6 out of 9. Even though all of your answers were on topic, you need to be much more comfortable with the language. You had a lot of language-related hesitations as well. If you want to get a 7 or above, you need to have some sort of structural development in your answer, and you need to minimize any sort of language-related hesitations. You need to demonstrate a sense of comfort in the ability to use English as your first language. The overall minimum score that you can expect from your speaking exam is a 6.5 out of 9. During the actual exam, a tentative score that you can expect is going to be between 6.5 and a 7. Do you have any other questions?
So, would you please share some suggestions regarding grammatical range as well as fluency? How can I improve? My actual test is scheduled on 21st October, so it's just 2 days.
Okay, so you can go through a couple of tutorials or videos to learn how you can better organize your answers so that there's a structure governing your entire answer. Apart from that, grammar is a long-term skill, so I don't think there's any secret that you can apply which will enable you to improve your grammar noticeably within 2 or 3 days. Right? So your best bet is basically to learn how to structuralize your answers and then ensure that your answer has a proper developed framework before you start presenting it, so that you can at least get a 7 or an 8 in terms of fluency and coherence.
Okay.
All right, then. Thank you for your time and good luck for your test.
I have another speaking test tomorrow.
Okay.
At 2:40 p.m.
All right. There will be another instructor conducting your speaking test tomorrow. No worries.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you.
Salam.
Walaikum assalam.